Hello and welcome to the first episode of Australia First. I'm your host, Dylan Brown, and we've got a stacked show today, basically around how Australia is becoming a surveillance state. But first, I want to talk about what this movement and what this show is about. Unlike a lot of, other national first movements that seem to idolize skin color or religion, this is not what this movement is about. This movement is bringing Australia back to its core values of freedom, independence, and giving people opportunity to rise up and improve themselves, fair opportunities for all, freedom to be who you want to be as long as you don't hurt anyone else, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, as long as you don't hurt anyone else. Because at the moment, a lot of the far right is basically idolizing skin color, religion, and that's not what the country is about. Now, I think obviously there is an immigration problem, letting too many people in, but I'm not anti-immigration. I'm just anti too many people coming in, just opening the doors. We need to take care of our people first. Take care of those at home first before we allow. I'm all for bringing people in to have an opportunity to contribute to this country, help better the country, help diversify, bring their skills, bring their cultures, because that's what the country is built on. And those that are preaching that, white Australia, that this is our country, well, if you want to get into technicalities, then, well, you're an immigrant too. That's not what this country is about. It was built on immigration. We need to respect the cultures that were already here, such as the indigenous peoples, while also respecting what the founding fathers and founding people who came here has built the country into what it is today. But at the same time, I feel like we're losing that by letting anyone and everyone in, and it's becoming a bit of a shit show, and we're losing who we are as a culture and as people, and we need to come together more. My shows, all my content is about unifying, working together, listening to each other, and working out ways to help further our country and bring people together. Onto stories that should really concern you is I want to discuss how this country is becoming a surveillance state and how concerning it is that as technology progresses, the more they're pushing our boundaries as to how much control they have over our data, over surveillance of us and what we're doing. You see this across what we spend. They're trying to push us to spend online, to even what we do in our buying habits. Well, I'll discuss that in a tick. But on the first topic I want to discuss is data centers. As you might have seen, we have started to build a few data centers around Australia, particularly in Victoria. If you don't know, I am based in Victoria, so I'm going to be a bit more Victorian based. And now Australia has become the second biggest destination for data investment after the US, which is very concerning. Now, I want to touch on some stuff from Channel 7.
For data centers.
We offer a lot of benefits. We have abundance of land. We have a lot of opportunities for sustainable energy sources. But more importantly, we have a very secure and stable political and regulatory environment.
Australia can't seem to build data centres fast enough. Billions of dollars are flooding into this sector. Last year, we were the second biggest destination for data centre investment behind the United States.
Now, if you hadn't seen, Microsoft signed a multi-billion-dollar deal, because if you don't know, I cover mining, and this will obviously boost the mining sector. This was in April. They signed a $25 billion deal to, let me just invest in AI infrastructures, security and skills. It's the largest ever company investment in Australia. Now you would say, look, it looks good, help boost jobs. But let's just look at the impact that this will have. Now, if you don't know, our energy infrastructure struggles enough when it gets hot, and we usually have blackouts. Well, with data centers, if you don't know, they draw a lot of energy and also a lot of water. Now, I don't know if you recall, we are a drought. We have a fair amount of droughts and struggle with water at times. We've been lucky in the past few years that we've had a fair bit of rainfall in Melbourne, but outside of our little bubble down here, there's still droughts going on. And you're telling me all that water is going to go to these data centers? That just tells you what the governments, they don't care about the regular person. Because I'm telling you now, with the amount of data centers that are going to come up, this is going to cause massive issues with your power infrastructure, your water. It's going to be, we're just seeing, this clip will show you, we're just seeing the beginnings of it's going to happen across not just these suburbs, but across the country as more and more of these bloody data centers get built up.
Big and noisy. I've got nothing against data centres. They're a necessary evil. They are going to happen.
Necessary evil? Do we really need data centers? Who needs the data centers? Does anyone want this? Necessary evil. They are putting this in because they want AI to overtake jobs as well as create a surveillance state. That's what these data centers are for. That's necessary evil for who? Not for the regular Joe. Just think about who the necessary evil is for.
They could do so much for Australia. This one in particular has been handled so badly, and if data centres keep trying to build in residential areas, they are going to keep on having the same issues.
Those issues include a potential drop in house prices, incessant construction noise and disruption, and blackouts.
Oh my God.
Now, good old, if that doesn't concern you enough, if you're Victorian based as well, the Labor government has come out and said they want to build as many data centers as they can. Now, out of all states to do it, I don't think Victoria should. We don't have as much space as other states to do. We also have one of the largest populations, and we continue to grow as more and more people come into the country. Guess where they go? They either go to Melbourne or Sydney. I don't think we should be having data centers in Victoria. We don't have the space nor the energy grid to be able to, as much as they want to tell us that we do, we don't. And this is only going to cause more and more issues for water, electricity, and pollution, which, hey, I thought that the Labor government was for the environment. Seems like a large contradiction to be putting these data centers in when we all know the impact it has on the environment. It is contradictory to what you believe is green. But let's just have a look at what Jacinta Allen says.
We can in a way that they go through our investment pipeline and go through our processes.
Now, Premier, I understand Victoria currently has somewhere around 40 data centres, and you personally have been very
40 is wild. I don't know if anyone else knows that, but 40 is wild. Like, I don't think there's been much media coverage, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think a lot of the public know that. I thought there might have been only a few, but the fact that there's already 40 around the state is concerning, and they're looking to grow more.
very active in advocating for data centres to come and do business here in this state. How many centres would you hope to have operating in Victoria by the end of the forward estimates?
The support that we have been providing and focused on supporting for the data centre sector comes in recognition that we are well placed here in Melbourne and Victoria in the nation as a leading centre for data centres to establish, because we have land, we have the skilled workforce as well, we have secure energy supply. Data centres are part of an investment opportunity that supports jobs and prosperity here in Victoria. And as I said, we are seeing companies from around the world looking at places to invest, and we are, so in answer to your question about how many, we would, as many as, we are continuing to attract as many as we possibly can in a way that they go through our investment pipeline and go through our processes. I opened recently the CDC, I think in Brooklyn, where they've made billions of dollars of investment in the western suburbs, and I've got a couple of colleagues here from the western suburbs who are seeing this. This is good jobs in these local.
I want to touch on the job point that she wants to make. Yes, it will invest in jobs, but the jobs that it will not cover the jobs that are going to be lost at the scale in which that AI will be implemented. Just think about all the jobs that could potentially be lost because of AI. We're already seeing it in the supermarkets, which I will touch on soon, because they're doing other stuff as far as with helping out with the surveillance state. Look at the self-checkouts. They've cut out all of the checkout registers. You probably have only 2 on deck, and then the rest, they have 1 on deck, and you have to self-check out yourself. And that will continue to get worse as AI and technology continues. We're already seeing it with Amazon as far as robots fulfilling orders, and as technology gets better with self-driving cars, it will get to a point that delivery driving won't be a job anymore. Delivery service won't be a job. Like, all these jobs will be gone. So yes, you are helping bring jobs in, but you're also helping remove a lot of jobs as well. So not really. You're just justifying helping your mates out in big business.
Local communities that are important for the future.
Now, as much... there's going to be people out there calling me a greenie, and I don't align with a lot of things as far as, some of the things they believe in as far as the trans stuff as far as in school, but they are aligned with these sort of topics as far as helping the workforce. Labor has shown that they they kind of care because they help the building infrastructure, they help with that, but a lot of other things they've actually done worse for jobs. Now, as far as the Israel topic, I won't go into depth there, but the Greens are a bit more inside than Labor. And then, I'll touch on the right side with Liberal next week. That will be a whole other topic, but they're not helping either. They're all for big business as well. So, if that's not concerning enough, I want to now touch on to the second topic of surveillance, and that is, now, it's come up in recent discussions about Palantir, Coles' relationship with Palantir. Now, this is not a new story. This was just slid in. I think a lot of people missed this, but Coles, this was back in February 2024, so this is not a new story. But how it got out was a recent ad campaign which was run in some stores by, let me bring it up, by a campaign Let's watch the video
relationship
here.
with the American tech giant Palantir amid growing calls for its partnership to end. In response to the controversial partnership, political activist group GetUp bought
Yeah, so GetUp, good on them. They did a campaign in some shopping centres, making people aware of this, but this is not a new story.
hundreds of billboard ads in shopping centres across the country within 50 metres of Coles stores. The billboard ads, which read, "Here at Coles, we're always watching you," were taken down within 48 hours. Senior GetUp campaigner Hayden Rogers told Yahoo News, "Australians have told us they want to know why a company like that is in partnership with one of the country's biggest supermarkets and handling the mountain of surveillance data Coles collects." Coles has since denied that it's passing on surveillance data to Palantir, a company known for supplying tracking software to US immigration and customs enforcement agencies and the US military. A spokesperson for the supermarket giant told Yahoo News that Coles uses this software as a data integration and analytics software platform, which helps our team members make practical, informed decisions.
As a data integration and analytics software platform which helps their team members make practical, informed decisions across their business. Now, why do you need to track people's faces that come into... How does that help you make a practical decision? Now, if this should concern a lot of people, this relationship with Palantir. Now, I'll get into who Palantir is because a lot of people don't know. But this should concern just regular people. Now, if you're a parent like me who is trying to protect their child, their identity online, because, you know, me and my partner and our child will do an innocent trip down to the supermarket to get some groceries. We don't expect our child's face to be tracked and then that data be given to, I don't know, Palantir, who, yeah, I'll talk into who they're linked to, but I have not given them the permission to, first of all, record and track my son, let alone me, and I don't think my partner's given any written consent. Now, you could argue, well, you give that consent walking into the store. Where else are you meant to get your food, first of all? And second of all, that should be made very clear on signage. When you walk in, by you walking into the store, you are giving permission. This was just slid under the rug with a small little story back. Like, no one knew about this. It was not covered at all. Now, this was back in 2024, covered by ABC. I don't think it got any coverage on the mainstream news. Because I watch 7 News daily. That was not covered there. I didn't see it covered on Channel 9. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been a little story, but let's get into it. So, Coles signed a deal with Palantir. Now, if you don't know, they have a deal they work with the CIA. That should just ring all sorts of bells. Okay. For an intelligence agency, Palantir's tools might help identify a terror cell through phone calls and financial transactions. What does Coles need that for? But for Coles, the goal is to optimize its workforce by analyzing over 10 billion rows of data comprising each store, team member, shift and allocation across all intervals in a day, every day. Why do you need to know such intricate data like that? Does that not just scream to you, I don't know, surveillance state? Is this not just the inklings of what's to come? They're slowly introducing this, it's just Coles putting it out. Next minute, it's going to be everywhere. They're already putting cameras everywhere in the city, in the streets, public transport, as safety. When has a camera ever stopped crime from happening? It doesn't. It's not for safety. It's for surveillance. Surveillance, guys. That's the key word here. Okay. The announcement is linked to Coles' plan to save $1 billion. All about share of profits, guys. Remember that. Over the next 4 years, it follows a 2019 big data deal with Microsoft an effort to build robotic delivery centers. So, as I said before, this is not new news. They're slowly trying to get rid of jobs with data centers, with robotics. And the only way to do that is through having these data centers to be able to process all the data it's required for the robotics, for your self-driving vehicles. All that stuff requires a lot of energy, a lot of data centers. Okay, so if you don't know who Peter Thiel is and Alex Karp, you need to just become a bit more informed of those names, because they've got a lot of influence. Now, yes, Palantir works exceptionally close with the CIA and has done so for over 2 decades, guys. 2 decades. If you think they say, Cole said in the video that they weren't selling data to Palantir. I doubt that very highly. Now, they're linked to different wiretaps back to Bin Laden, which I'll get into that in another video, but let's just look at the owner of Palantir and who they're linked to. Now look, what Palantir does, it's named after the all-seeing crystal spheres of the Lord of the Rings. All-seeing. Surveillance state. Is everyone getting it? Surveillance, guys. They want to see everything you're doing. All your data, all these AI programs, social media, they're collecting it all. They're building a data collection of everything you do so they can control you the best way. They know what drives you, what motivates you, your weaknesses, your strengths. They have built a portfolio of that's why everyone has an individual social media feed. Okay? Now, let's just get into who they're linked to. Now, if anyone knows, I won't get into the thick of it, but the CIA is one of the most corrupt agencies there are. They're behind a lot of different things, but they're linked to a certain government that's doing a genocide at the moment. I won't say who just yet, but let's see. Let's just look at Peter Thiel. What is Peter Thiel's background, and is he hey guys, funny how these tech guys are political advocates and have links to a certain country. Now, he was part of the PayPal mafia with Elon Musk and Max Levin, as some might know. Peter Thiel's connections to Israel span to strategic military partnerships, high-level political ties, and private technology investments. Okay? Now, let's get into their manifesto. Now, they have a controversial 22-point vision statement released by data firm Palantir Technologies in April 2026. So, the key pillars of the manifesto is the primacy of hard power. It argues for the survival of the West, aka modern day Rome, which is the US and the West. So they will have hard power based on software. Again, going back to my point of surveillance, built on software rather than relying on soft power or moral appeal. The obligations to national defense. It asserts that tech elites must participate in national defense and that AI-powered weapons are inevitable. It also suggests the US should consider reinstating the military draft to fight for what war, you say? Oh. Culture hierarchy and civic duty. The text criticizes hollow pluralism and vacant inclusivity, claiming that some cultures are dysfunctional and regressive, while others have produced wonders. It also advocates for universal national service. I wonder who they want you to go to war for. Give you some guesses. Public discourse. It condemns the ruthless exposure of public figures and billionaires, arguing that it drives talent away from government service. As we know, the controlled right, they all act like, just like Elon Musk, that they're, anti-woke and all this stuff. It's just another side of the controlled opposition, because they want you to go to war and fight their battles for a certain state. Now, Palantir's manifesto, which embraces AI state surveillance of citizens, along with national service in the USA, is either a parody of Robocop or disturbing narcissistic rant from an arrogant organisation. Quote from Martin Wrigley, a Liberal Democrat MP, which was in the UK, I think. Yeah, I can get into the depths of this, but I think you guys get the picture of Palantir. Do you really want your information, your look, you want them tracking what you're doing? Do you want Palantir knowing all that? Do we want them to be tracking your children? I don't think so. I don't want to protect my child's identity and everything, and I'm very uncomfortable with them having all that data. Coles can deny it to the moon, but if you're linked with Palantir, they've got all the data. Same with CIA. Now, Woolies is not out of it either, because again, with this digital stuff, as we've seen AI more and more, this has links to digital pricing. So this is basically where they can just change the pricing on a dime. If any of you guys buy products online or online orders, this is where it could get sticky. I feel like with all this online shopping, they will change the prices of items that you buy more to end up getting more profits, because what do you think they're in business for? If they know that, for example, if you like this certain cheese, they might boost the price up because they know you really want that product, and they'll get more profits out of you individually, whereas the price for someone else might be less because they don't buy it. So they'll tailor the pricing to each individual, and you won't know unless you talk to the other person. And as society draws apart and we're not talking to each other more, they can just do this because, we won't know, because if we do more of the online orders and they dictate and change the pricing with online tags on a dime, how are we meant to know? Some dynamic pricing strategies are seen as more likely to exploit customers by taking advantage of an imbalance in information between the buyer and the seller. Supermarkets could, in theory, jack up the price of ice cream on hot days, just like what the fuel companies do in the lead up to a long weekend when everyone's driving. Oh, the prices suddenly go up. Oh, I don't know why that is. Or they could charge the customer more if they know the customer always buys the same product. AI has exacerbated this information balance. Many retailers, mostly online, use AI systems to predict the maximum amount each customer will pay for the product based on the personal data such as credit history, location, age, and buying habits. These AI systems have been trained on millions of hours of shopping data to sniff out patterns in consumer behavior. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like them tracking my data. Now, Woolies does this as well. They probably have some sort of tracking data when you come into the store as well. Here we go. They've got a story on them as well. They've got something with Google AI. Yeah, they've announced a partnership with Google. So we know Google tracks everything you do. So they're no better with their Olive chatbot. I'm sure they've got some sort of system with their cameras as you walk into the physical store. More evidence of surveillance state. It's only getting worse. I'm not doing this to scare you. I'm making this. I want you guys to be aware, to be able to make decisions. But yeah, do with this information as you can. Try to avoid these stores. If you can, try and shop at farmers markets, local grocers, ideally organic. I won't get into in other videos. I'll talk about the importance of organic products as far as health-wise goes. Just do take care of yourself and your community. I think as more information comes out, we need to fight back against this tyranny, as this control is only getting worse. Look at the airports. They use security. Look at back to 9/11, which I won't get into the thick of things with 9/11, but if you know what I know, yeah, there's questions about that. But they use that as an excuse to basically take greater control under the guise of security. That's why it's a pain in the ass to go through the airport. Then we look at COVID. What was that? That was, if you're from Victoria, you know we were in the biggest surveillance state. That was just a trial for what's to come. We need to, now that if you know what we know now, we can't let this happen. We have to fight back and ensure that we keep them in check and balance, because our government has proven that they will take more and more liberties and independence from us under the guise of security and use your fears against you. Do not let them do that. We can't let them do this again. COVID was the biggest wake-up call. That lockdown, all of it was crap. I don't want to hear. Everyone in Victoria should be awake to what that was, and it's only going to happen again with the surveillance state. They're going to put more and more things in place to be like, oh, this is for your safety. This is to help you out. No, we don't need more surveillance. We don't need more AI. We don't need more tracking. We don't need data centers. Trust me. But feel free to, if you disagree, if you agree, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to next week. In the next episode, I'll be looking into the controlled right with Pauline Hanson. If you think that she is for the country and for you, well, you've got another thing coming. And I'll cover anything else that happens in the next week. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and have a good day. Australia first.